Hello YouTube, this is Callum from EnglishShooting, and I know a lot of you have been asking for more shotgun related videos, and I know pretty much since I started the channel a lot of you have been asking for cleaning and maintenance videos, so I thought I would combine the two and finally get round to doing my own shotgun cleaning video. So the first thing I think is pretty obvious, and that's to break the gun down. The sort of cleaning you're going to be doing to the barrels, you don't really want to be doing anywhere near the walnut stock or any sort of wooden stock. The chemicals that you use on the barrels are going to be fairly dangerous to the walnut stock, and you don't want to mix the two, and the oils especially can weaken the stock and ruin any sort of finish. So as I said, it's pretty obvious, but you just want to break it down. I think most people will know how to break down a shotgun. You can put your stock and forend just to the side for the moment. You're not going to need it. It's a separate cleaning process. Obviously you want to just unscrew it and take those out. I like to try and strip down everything that you can without too much hassle. That means that any grime or dirt that's got trapped anywhere, any water especially, or old oil, just any build-ups you can get rid of, and obviously taking it apart is the easiest thing. If you're going to do a really thorough clean, you can remove the ejectors. I'm not going to do that for this cleaning. This is just going to be a general back from the range, back from the playground cleaning video, so you leave those in, but we will oil them later on. Now, the first thing that you want to do, or you'll think that you're going to want to start doing, is spraying stuff all over the gun, spraying all the different products that you've got down the barrels. Now, I'd advise heavily against that, because I find it's actually a lot easier to clean it dry. So you've got all that powder and all that deposit down the barrels. I find that doing it with a completely dry brush and completely dry barrels is the easiest way. It just gets rid of as much muck as possible. If you start putting chemicals down there, product down there, it's going to just congeal everything and you end up with this lovely runny sludge. So I assembled the rod earlier. Obviously there's loads of different types of rods. I've got the bronze end on it at the moment, and I'm just going to give it just a quick once through. Now you've got rid of all that sort of powdery build-up, this is when I like to spray the gun and get the first product within the barrels. So for this I'm just going to use the Napier gun cleaner. It says basically on it what it does: removes all fouling, which is what you want to do, protects against corrosion, which is the main important thing. That's why you like to keep the barrels nice and clean, and it lubricates and keeps the gun in tip-top condition. Hoppies is obviously very good at just cleaning the gun, but I find it really hard to use in that bottle form, and it gets very messy. Obviously Parker Hale do make their own solvent. I don't have that lying about. I think that's actually up in my other place. I tend to use that over the Napier. Now I like to put quite a generous helping down there. Some people say if you go over the top you're just wasting it, but I don't think you can do too much harm using too much. It's only going to get more clean. So I like to do it in both ends. Make sure you get around all the threading where your chokes were, and then you can just go and pay particular attention down to your ejectors. You're trying to get all the areas where rust is going to develop, and everywhere that you want to make sure is absolutely spotless. So give it a good coating, and then go back to the bronze brush and give it again a good brushing. You can leave it for a little while, say 10 minutes, go away, make a cup of tea, come back, but I'm not going to do that right now. So nothing too vigorous there, just a few passes through the barrels. While you've still got the bronze brush on, I'm going to put a quick passing through the chokes, because obviously you want to make sure that they're clean as well. So now we can get rid of the bronze brush and we can focus again back onto the barrels. Now, before I put any sort of attachment on there, this is when the toilet roll is going to come into handy. You just want to get a good handful of it and just plonk it down the barrels. Just want to try and get it compact. There is a good balance between getting it compact enough that it kind of squeaks through, picks up all that fouling, and not compact enough that it ends up clogging up and you end up getting it stuck in the barrels. It's something that you can play around with. It's just something that you get used to. That squeak is normally a good sign. It's saying that it's, again, tight enough that it's going to be picking stuff up, and you can see there's actually a metallic shine to the deposit that's on that tissue paper, and that's a good sign because it means you're getting the lead off and you're getting all that fouling off. Push it through once more. Again, a rule of thumb with this is that there you go, you can probably tell I've done it a bit harder and a bit more compact than last time. So you can easily push these bits of tissue through. Obviously there is some point where it will get stuck, but remember these barrels take, you know, kind of thousands of pounds worth of pressure when it's you're firing that shot, so forcing a bit of toilet tissue through it isn't going to phase it really. I like to use a clean bit for the second barrel. Again, you just saw I did 2 passes through it. Again, the rule of thumb is to obviously pass through until it's clean. Again, I'm just doing a quick video for you guys. Just the once or twice is enough. That's going to get rid of all the majority of deposit within the gum. But if you want to sit there and pass it through till the tissue's absolutely spotless, then you're more than welcome to do that. It's just about how much time you've got. So once you've passed it all through like that, the barrels are pretty clean. Obviously you've just got all this deposit, you know, your hands are dirty, the rod's dirty. What I'd go away and do is brush down your rod, use some toilet paper again to get your rod nice and clean, and go and wash your hands. When you come back, make sure that your hands are perfectly dry, because you don't want any moisture on the barrels, because that's what rusts them. But go and clean your hands, because you know, if your hands are dirty, you're just going to keep making the barrels dirty. So I went and cleaned my hands and also brushed down the brush, rubbed down the brush, and that's purely what was on the rod. And obviously if you've just cleaned it, you don't want to be passing that through and putting that back on the gun. So I've got a clean side here. The next step that I like to do is, you can see I've got, you know, all this, you know, leftover cleaner on it. I just like to get some clean toilet paper. You can use obviously like microfiber cloths, but you know, they're fairly expensive. They do help to get a better shine, but they get so dirty so quickly. I just, you know, some toilet paper, you know, some quality toilet paper is certainly going to be soft enough to get all inside your gun. And you can see instantly that the gun is looking, you know, very clean. You're looking down the barrels. A good way to do it is to put it up at some light, look down them, and you're looking for that mirror finish. Even if you do like a really good clean, you will get some streaking. You will still have some streaking in this top part. For that, you really do need to use something like Hoppies or a really good solvent. Soak it in, leave it for quite a while, and that's going to dissolve that lead. That streaking in there is just lead, and you know, just a quick brush isn't going to get rid of that. So once you've just given it a brush down, obviously the barrels are like really dry now because you've been passing the toilet tissue through. The last thing is just to put some oil down the barrels, just to coat it to protect from that corrosion. And then this is what the 303, Young's 303 from Parker Hale, that's what I use it for. I like to give it a nice spray. This is why I love all the spray products, because it's just so much easier. Just some down the top, and this is, you know, you want to get it all around the top here. Be really liberal with it, and then you can brush down all the excess. Go to the other side and just spray it. And this is what the wool brush is for as well. Now this is normally used for just pure gun oil. You know, you put some in the top, let it drip down, and then you push this through. But any sort of other kind of inhibitor or kind of cleaning product, or you know, oil or whatever, you can use this to push through the barrels and just make sure you're getting that nice coating, because you want every spot in that barrel to be coated and protected. just pass it through. You're not trying to clean it, you're not trying to buff it, you're just trying to spread it all around the barrel. And that's it, that's all you're going to need the rod for. That's all finished. You can see you've got all this excess, so again, I like to get some clean toilet roll. And just wipe it down. You're still, no matter how much you brush it, you're still going to leave like fingerprints on it. What I would do is make sure that the end of the gun here, or you know where it goes to the actual stock, I would make sure that this is as clean as possible. Hold it down towards the end, the muzzle of the gun, and that's your last bit that you kind of polish down before putting it into the safe. So just make sure you're getting the excess off, but you're also again spreading it around all that product around the end of the gun, just making sure it's all nice and spread. Obviously you've still got the chokes. Chokes are just as important because they will rust, and obviously they're sat there in the barrels as well. So if you neglect to clean your chokes, what you're going to end up doing is cleaning your barrels, and then your chokes are going to rust away and do the sort of damage that you're trying to prevent. I'll try not to drop it. What I like to do is kind of squeeze in, just like you did with the barrel, squeeze in some toilet tissue, pass it through the chokes just to pick up any muck inside, and do that for both of them. Make sure that they're nice and mirror, nice and clean on the outside. You can spray them with, again, a bit of the Young's just to protect them. Just a nice dousing. You can use the brush, again, just to make sure that the inside is all, you've got it all spread around there. Most people kind of say do them as tight as you can without breaking them. Some people will say, oh, don't have them too tight because you'll knacker the threads. I think it's more important to make sure that they don't come loose. So I like to just make sure that they're tight. But hand tight is more than enough to get them tightened up, get them back in the gun. So it does look very greasy. That's just all the product on there. As I said, make sure that you give it a nice wipe down with a nice cloth or just some tissue paper. Obviously you want to make sure that you use new tissue paper as much as possible. Just make sure you've got all that excess off. And one thing about storing a shotgun as well is most people will say that you store it barrels down, and that's basically to make sure that any oil that you've put on onto the barrels isn't going to then fall down and trickle down into the stock, because it will weaken the stock. So that's just my quick guide on how to clean your barrels from a day out shooting, to be able to put it away into the safe and not worry about it and protect it from that rust. Let me know if there's any tips that you know of that other people should know about cleaning a shotgun, any methods that you use that you think should be passed on. But as always, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you found it useful, and I hope to see you soon.